Welcome everyone. Good afternoon. So, so this is the final reminder. If anyone wants to get their friends to join the session, then do message them. Do inform them that we are starting the session.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So once again, welcome to Active Directory session. This side has been Robin. So we are starting the sessions, and along with me, we have a Chaitanya also has been available. So thank you, Chaitanya, for coordinating this training on, especially on weekend also. So this time we thought like it's been be useful, like if you're keeping this session on weekends, because we all are working professionals. So if you have a sessions on weekends, that will be useful to everyone here. So I hope I'm audible and it's been loud and clear to everyone. So maybe if you can just confirm through the chat, that's been good. Thank you, Scene. Good afternoon. Very good afternoon. So Chaitanya, or it's been someone can just confirm. That's been great.
Yes, Robin, you are audible and
Okay,
loud and clear.
loud and clear, right? Maybe it's a weekend, right? So a few people maybe it's in a mode of weekend mode. So that's the reason I just thought like I'll take an input. Okay, thank you, team. So last couple of sessions, we were focusing more on the Active Directory understanding. So right now we've been reached a position how Active Directory has been working on in a cloud scenario. Let me share my whiteboard. Give me a second. Let me share into whiteboard and we can have some details. Just give me a second. Give me a second. I'm just sharing my whiteboard here. Hope you can able to see the whiteboard here. This Jacob, it's like this session is like we'll have another 2 hours. So 2 hours we'll have discuss about different topics of Active Directory. So then we'll pause for this one. So because Jacob, it's like Active Directory is an ocean, you may be knowing, right? So we're just trying to understand one piece of that ocean. So we'll have multiple events has been planned. So right now, I hope you can able to see the whiteboard here. So last couple of session, the discussion we were doing around how Active Directory has been configured on in a Microsoft server. We understood like if you're taking a Microsoft Azure, Active Directory can be configured in a different ways. One, it's been like by default, you have a Azure default Active Directory has been installed by default. Second one, it's like we understood like we can able to use on-prem AD. So this has been able to connect into existing network, and this is like you may be able to see to a hybrid network. So this basically like you are able to do integration or a synchronization of Active Directory with a on-premises one. Then later on, it's been worked as it's been like how the synchronization has been configured here. That's the point we have seen, like you have a hybrid network has been available here. So with the help of that, you can able to a synchronization. So what was the tool we have used in the last session? So we were used a tool called AD Connect. So what was the use of AD Connect? Can you comment it on in the chat? Anyone from the batch, if you can just comment it on in the chat. What was the use of a AD Connect software? Can you comment it on in the chat how AD Connect was being used, how this is being synchronized? Can you comment it on in the chat what was the use of AD Connect? Yes, AD Connect is for reliable or synchronizing the on-premises. Thank you. So we got one response from Tajuddin. Okay. We are getting another response saying that a synchronization between home AD and a cloud. Okay. Najmuddin also is giving another example of a hybrid cloud scenario. Okay, great. So I agree with all the points or the comment it's been posted on the chat. This basically using like we are in a kind of a situation if the customer want to integrate existing Active Directory, or the existing Active Directory means that the on-premises AD which is currently been available there, which got security permissions, or it's like which got different security attributes. That's if you need to enable with a Microsoft Cloud, the tool we were using something called AD Connect. So with the help of AD Connect, this has been done. So with the help of AD Connect, this has been done on in a Microsoft side. So with the help of that, it's been called. Yes. So AD Connect is the tool currently we have given. And last time, the last session, we have seen how your AD Connect has been helped us for synchronizing the user into Microsoft Cloud. Now, today we are discussing about different groups or different features Microsoft has been Active Directory has been supporting. So right now we have seen how the synchronization is being done, how the Active Directory has been connected on into Microsoft portal here. Now, when it is coming on in a group management, let me connect you into Microsoft portal. Right now we have seen how the user account has been connected here. Let me take you into a portal here. Just give me a second. Let me connect on into the Microsoft portal and enable you to how to use the other group creation, everything. Just give me a second. I'm taking to Microsoft portal here. Give me a second. It's asking for a couple of additional information.
Robin, you are not audible. I guess there's some technical issue. You were audible earlier, but you are not audible now. Uh, Guys, the trainer is reconnecting, so uh, there's some technical issue. That's why he wasn't audible. So uh, please be patient for like 2 minutes, and uh, then we can hopefully begin the session.
Mic test. Mic test. Am I audible now?
Yes, Robin, you are audible now.
Sorry team, not sure like when we are switching to between a computer, what went wrong. Okay, let's thank you for your patience. So right now I hope it's been good and it's been able to hear it. Chaitanya, if you can just confirm that and please stay for a few minutes. Yeah, great. Now, right now on the
Yes,
screen,
Robin, you are audible now.
yes, thank you for the confirmation. There is unexpected technical issue happened. So right now on the screen, you may be able to see there are few user account that's been created here. So this user account, it's been like few user account which have been created inside your Active Directory, few user account which have been moved, or the right word, it's been like we have been synchronized from the on-premises one. So in the last couple of session, we understood if you're using a AD Connect, that will help us for synchronizing your existing Active Directory with the cloud. So that is the answer. We got it here. Now, right now I'm going to discuss about another term here that is called Active Directory groups. What are the different Azure Active Directory group is been available on in a Microsoft portal? You may be remembering like when we working on in a on-premises, there are different type of group is been available, universal or a local group or a global group, etc. Now, when it is coming on in a Microsoft Azure AD, what are the different type of the groups are available? When it is coming on in a Microsoft Active Directory side, there are only two types of group generally it's been created here. You may be able to see one is called a security group and another one is been knowing as a exchange group, or it's been like a Microsoft 365 group here. Right now you may be able to see here there is a couple of group has been already available here, and I'm trying to create a new user account or new group here. So right now you may be able to see the moment when you're trying to create a group, you may be able to see there are two type of group you will be able to create it. One is called a security group and another one is called as a 365 group. So when you're going for a Microsoft Azure AD, in case if you want to make any kind of group creation, there are two ways you can able to create it, and you can be able to add any user into that. So 365 security on Microsoft 365, formerly you may be knowing that is been knowing as a Microsoft 365 product. Now this has been changed. They've been added a lot of additional collaboration tool. So that kind of a situation, you can able to use Microsoft 365. So 365 group, you can able to use it. In case if you want to enable some collaboration, or if you want to use a Microsoft services such as SharePoint or a Teams or Outlook. If you want any of the user to be use this one, for example, like some user want to use a shared calendar, or some user account needs to be enabled for some user account for a Teams or a collaboration tool, you can able to add that group into 365. Security group is basically using for the access management, because you have a number of resources are available on in the portal, and such kind of a situation you can able to use it that. So that kind of a security or a permission, if you want to use it, such kind of a situation, you may be able to use this security group. Now you may be able to see there is a two more option you may be able to see here. One is been knowing as a dynamic user, or you may be able to see something called dynamic device also. So dynamic group or a dynamic device or a dynamic user, dynamic user you can basically you can able to use. Basically, like if you want to have a, I'm just giving a like a dynamic device. Dynamic device generally we are using. For example, like you have created a group inside your office. Now you want all the Windows computer or all the users who is holding Windows computer needs to be added into that group. For example, like you have a 10,000 user has been available on that. So based on your some security or a compliance policy, whoever has been using a Windows computer inside your organization, this needs to be added into a particular group. One option is be like you can send an email to all the user account or who's been present in the organization. That is the one method. Second method, it's been like you can put a query here, or you can able to create a group called dynamic device. Then you can able to add a dynamic query here. So you may be able to see an option called dynamic query. You may be able to see an option called dynamic query here. Here you can able to do a rules here saying that any computer with a Mac or a Windows needs to be added to a particular group. For in case if you want to configure some particular group with some policy or a role-based access control, such kind of a situation you can able to use for a dynamic device. So here you can able to add your query. For example, like I'm adding a query here. All the device available in my organization, I'm just giving a property here. I'm just giving like a device OS type. I'm just giving like contains, if any user has been containing Windows operating system needs to be added into a particular group. So in case if you want to put this kind of a condition, then you that kind of a situation you can able to add here. So I'm just saying like or add, and you can able to add it here. Then you can able to add it here. So you can able to see now any user who has been holding a Windows user group, they will be added into this one. So that is the beauty of, or that is the use of this specific device. So any specific device need, if you need to add into a specific user account, then you can able to go for this. Now there is something called a dynamic group as well. For example, like in case if you want to add or something called a particular group needs to be added. For example, like you have a user has been available from different geography. Now for example, like you have a user has been available from US, Philippines, Switzerland, or a different organization users are available. Now in that kind of a situation, if you want to add a user account into a group, for example, like if you want to add a user account into a computer or into a for example, like users from a Philippines needs to be added into one group. So such kind of a situation, you can able to use an option called dynamic user. For example, like you want to configure some policy basically into a particular city geographical base, you want to do some kind of a control inside in your organization, then you can able to go for an option called dynamic user. So you can able to go for a for example, like if you take a user account, for example, like if you take a user account, the moment of user properties, I'm just taking a user attribute here. Give me a second. I'm just opening a user properties here. Give me a second. This has been loading here. Now I have been loaded a user account here. For example, like I've been selected a user account called Robin here. I'm going the properties of the Robin user account here. You may be able to see the user account. It's been created here. Now, if I'm going on the properties of the Robin user account, you may be able to see there are n number of attributes been given here. You may be able to see. You may be able to see there is a different. You may be able to see there are different identity or attribute details here. For example, like you have a different department has been available there. Now you want all the HR needs to be added into a particular group automatically. So for example, like I'm adding like I have a HR department. So whenever any user has been created with an attribute HR department, automatically if you want to add into a particular group, then that kind of a situation you can able to use a option called dynamic user. So if you go for a creation of a group, there you will be getting an option called dynamic user here. Right now you may be able to see here. Let's wait. Right now you may be able to see in the properties, the moment when you try for creating that, you may be able to see like the moment when you try to creating a user account, you may be able to see one option called dynamic user. So the moment when you select a dynamic user, you are saying I have a user account who has been part of a particular city. For example, like I'm putting a control or a rules here saying that if any user is from particular city, I'm saying that if anyone has been contains or it's been from a city called Singapore, needs to be added here into a particular group. So automatically any user or it's been part of that or a particular department is been available needs to be added, then you can able to go for here. So automatically the location group will be created. So all the user from or with that particular defined attribute automatically it will take. One important point you need to remember, in case if you're creating a dynamic group or a dynamic device, there is no defined time for this update. So in case if you are added immediately, don't expect that all these user will be immediately moved to global account. No, do not. So this basically it's been take a time. So generally it will take a time of 15 to 20 minutes, or sometimes it will take 30 minutes also. So you need to ensure that in case if you're using any such kind of a user account, generally this will take almost you need to wait up to some 4 to 5 hours also. So there is an option for generally this is will take a time here. So that's important point you need to remember. Any questions? I'm just posing you. If you're good, can you comment it on the chat window? So just to ensure that um, so I'm just getting a question like how to create a Active Directory group on in a command lines, right? That is a question you are getting. Now let me type the command here. Let me have this command here. Let me paste it here so you can able to um, you can able to copy here. Let me type the command here. So you are expecting PowerShell or CLI, right? Let me type the PowerShell command. Okay, just give me a second. So this is the module, and so created, so you can use. I'm just pasted that chat to you. So yeah. So Najmuddin, Ajat Najmuddin, you can able to copy this command from the chat. I just pasted the script. So in case if you want to use it, this is the command. Generally we use it. So this is the command. You can able to use it here. Let me copy from my, yeah, this is the command. You can able to use it. So in case if you want to use it using a PowerShell, this is the command. You can able to use it here. In Cloud Shell, in which format you want? Cloud Shell is not general one. So in case if you want is a bash or a PowerShell, you can able to use it that. Um, Mukherjee, can you just rephrase your question? What do you mean by DDG? Can you just elaborate that question? Because that's if you can just elaborate that question, this means you are discussing your DDG use mean like you are looking like a AD group, right? This is what I understood, like Azure AD dynamic groups. That's what you are trying to understand, right? So once this option has been enabled, so is trying to say dynamic list. Yes, if the member roles has been managed from Active Directory. Um, yes, there is some limitations we have on in the ADDG group here. So basically, like if your config, this option has been enabled, basically we know it's been like synchronized with the Active Directory. But ADG back to on-premises, which can be managed on through a option has been available. If you want, you can able to note down here. So this is the, there is an option you will get it here. So synchronize something called synchronize Azure AD membership on on-premises. Yes. So this is the answer for that. So Mukherjee, if you can able to type it here. So yes, you have an option called Azure AD synchronization option. Synchronize Azure AD group membership. I mean, hope you may be seen this option in the AD Connect tool. So you can able to use that. So in case if you want, you can able to go for that. If I create CLI, I will fast. Uh, Group write back is something different, Arjit. So Arjit Mukherjee. Generally used to use this write back. Have a scenario like if you want to reset the password, for example, like if you want to reset the password on an Azure side, on an on-premises side. So that kind of a situation, we used to use a concept called Azure AD write back option, because reverse synchronization is been not available on in the cloud, right? So that maybe already maybe understood on in our last session. For example, like if you want to, if you have created a user account in a cloud, that is been not automatically synced with the Azure one, right? So you may have to use the password write back. So that will allow us to do a password reverse synchronization here. For that, you need to have a password write back. That is a feature generally we are using. Now, Haji is asking like, can I create using CLI? Yes, you can create it. The PowerShell command, you cannot use it on a CLI. Azure CLI has got a separate tool and a separate module for that. So you may have to use that. You can able to use that one. Okay. Any question from anyone? Now we are trying to create a security group in the shift dynamic user what the page currently now, right? On premises users, we cannot delete it from, no, not like that. It's been like, Hajar, you have a situation like you have a user account which has been created on in a on premises, and you have been synchronized with the Azure Active Directory with the AD connect, right? So that is a problem here. So in case if you have been deleted on in a Microsoft, that will be done as a soft delete on the side. So in case if you have been created any user account, that's the important point. All of us need to remember here. In case if you are created um, a user account in Azure AD, by default, even though if the user account has been created, that technically happening is soft deletion. You may be remembering like there is a term we were using on in a on-premises AD, something called as Thompson interval, right? Have you remember a term called Thompson interval, right? So there is we used to get it like a 128 or 180 days. Here we have a interval or it's been software deletion period. It's been like 30 days. In case you've been deleted also, it'll be in 30 days. You'll be able to recover your user account here. Now that's about the group part here. So end of the day, during the session, you need to understand there are two ways the user account is been created. One is a security group. Inside the security group itself, we have a two-way we can able to create. One is called as a dynamic group, and second one is been knowing as a dynamic device also. You may be remembering when we created an Active Directory. By default, there is a domain is been created for us. Let me go to this Active Directory here. The moment when you created on an Active Directory, you may be remembering like Active Directory has been created or it's been available here. Right now you can be able to see there is a Active Directory has been available here. Right now you may be able to see here. So something is given like on.microsoft.com. Now the organization is saying like, no, I need to have some name like apple.com or orange.com. I need to have a customized domain is needed for my organization because I'm not happy for this on.microsoft.com or that's x.on.microsoft.com. That update I'm not interested. Now, how to do that? Generally, this has been done with the help of a concept called customized domain. There will be an option you will be getting something called as custom domain. So you have an option called a custom domain. Here you can able to add your domain name. For example, like you want x.com or a y.com or orange.com, any name to you want to create it inside that, you can able to create it inside this one. So you have option for deleting or you have an option for adding a new domain like I need to add it like a cloudhub.com or I need to add like something like orange.com or x.com. So that is the option if you want to add it, that is can be possible here. Now you have another option is been available something called as custom domain, which will help us for adding a new domain here. How to do that? You need to go to a hosting companies like one of the commonly used organization is called as a godaddy.com. So you can go to the godaddy.com from where you can able to purchase a domain name and that details can be added here. So that is the way generally the custom domain is being made. So in case if you want to go for any such kind of a situation, for example, like if you want to add any user account or if you want to add any custom domain for your organization, you can follow that. Now, when it is coming on in a self-service password reset, you may be remembering like many situations, you may be getting a lot of requests from a help desk or in the service desk team saying that user has been forgot the password. There are different reasons will be available like user is been not able to configure this one, user is been not able to or user is been forgot the password. Now you take a scenario like you have a 10,000 plus users are available in the organization. Now you want to enable a feature called a self-service password reset. How generally this can be possible? Self-service password means that if the user has been forgot the password, this will help us the user to reset himself. So you can able to give different mechanism. In case if you want to enable this option, that we need an Active Directory license with a P2 license. Is not that it's been available for all the user account or no, or all the edition no. In the last session we found like if you are already have a user account or if you have a Active Directory has been available, with a P1 or a P2, like if you have a P1 or a P2 license is been available here. Now, if you want to have a self-service feature to be used, this license needs to be in a P2 one. If you have a free account or a Microsoft 365, you will not be in a position to enable a service desk feature for you. So this is not been supported. So you need to have a service desk feature is been enabled here. So with the help of that, you can able to configure this one. Now, when it is coming on into a self-service portal, or it's been like a self-service portal here, like when you're going on in a Microsoft portal here, you will have a dedicated option P2 needs to be enabled here. How to enable that? There are different authentication can be used, like the authentication method you can able to define it, or number of the methods you want to try it for resetting a password, number of the days before they needs to reconfirm their authentication. If you want that, you can able to enable it here. So basically you need to have a P1 or a P2 license is needed, then you can able to configure this one. Now, how to do this license agreement here? You can able to go for an option here. For example, like this is needs to be enabled in a user base option. You need to select a particular user. For example, like a set of user, we need to allow a password reset option for the user. Then you can go to that particular user here. For example, like I'm taking a user code Jacob. I need to enable that whenever Jacob has been forgetting his password, I need to give some help, or I need to give an option for resetting himself. I don't want him to connect to a help desk or a service desk. Himself he can able to do and do a resetting of the password. In case if I need to do this, I need to go to user properties. I need to assign a license to Jacob. That's called a P2 license. I have option will be getting like something called as assignment. I'm assigning like a license P2 here. I'm just assigning a P2 license to uh, our friend Jacob here. So I've been enabled this option. Now, when the user has been enabled this feature, we can go to the user properties here. You have a user has been available Jacob. If you can go to the properties here, you may be able to see an option called when you go to the management here, you may be you'll be getting an option called the properties here. You may be able to Jacob edit properties. Give me a second. You can just go to user ID here. You will be getting an option called password reset. We can enable password reset option for him. So here you can able to select like enabled selected. Now I can able to enable what is the type of the authentication want. So if any user or a group, if they want to reset, what are the mechanism they want to use it? Do we need to send through mobile phone or office phone? So if any user want to connect it, in the login screen, they will get an option like a forgot my password option. The moment the user has been forgot this one when they connected to portal.azure.com, they'll be getting an option for forget the password. So here you can able to define what is the type of the synchronization method if you want. You may be able to see like this an option you will get it here. This will, if any user has been forget, so they will be getting an option here. So with the help of that, they will be able to um, configure it here. So that is the way generally um, generally this is the method generally this is the method generally this is the method we are using for um, in a Microsoft, or it's been like in a Azure side for providing a option for the user into um, enabling a password reset here. Any question from here? Any questions from any members here? Okay. Now, next option we are going to discuss something. It's about conditional access. A conditional access is a kind of a option, whether if you want to allow or deny to access to a particular resource. For example, like when the user has been connecting, this will be verifying a different options. I need to ensure that with the user when they are connecting, they are meeting all the criteria for my organization. For example, like I have a multi-factor authentication has been enabled. So I think we didn't discuss about a multi-factor authentication, right? So multi-factor authentication is a feature which will allow the user to enable some additional security for a user account. Right now, the moment when you created a user account in your organization, we are giving only two options, right? The moment the user has been connecting, we are enabling a user account with a password. You may be remembering like if you're using some banking website, oftenly we have been seeing like we used to get a OTP code or a OTP message on in your mobile phone, right? That's like an additional level of security. So in case if you want to enable a similar kind of a security for your Azure users here, we have an option has been available called multi-factor authentication. For example, like if you have a n number of users has been created, and we need to ensure that all these users has been enabled with a multi-factor authentication. Generally, this is configuring for a security purpose. For example, like if you have a couple of user account has been configured here. Now, if any user has been logged into Microsoft portal, I need to ensure that all the user account has been gone through all the additional security mechanism. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. Let me go through this one, how practically this has been enabled here. Let's wait. In case if you want to enable a multi-factor method here, we used to configure with the help of an option called per user multi-factor authentication here. You can able to select an option called per multi-factor authentication. This will take you into a page where you can able to enable your multi-factor mechanisms here. So you can able to select your multi-factor authentication here. So with the help of that, you can enable it here. Now, let me zoom it here. Right now, you may be able to see this. We've been reached to a Active Directory portal here. So where you can able to enable a multi-factor authentication method. Now, when you entered into multi-factor authentication here, when you entered into this portal here, you may be able to see there are two options generally we are getting. One is called users. You have an option to select a users. Second option, you are getting something called a service settings. The moment when you select option called service settings here, so the moment when you select an option called service settings, this will allow us to configure few uh, important informations here. For example, like if you have all the users who has been connecting from your office, so all these users are connecting from a trusted network. uh, if the user is been connecting from my office, I don't want any users to ask for a multi-factor authentication, because I know this users has been connecting my office. I don't want them to go for asking multi-factor authentication every time, because my user maybe get some kind of exhausted, or they may will be bit frustrated, like every time if I'm connecting, OTP number has been coming, we need to enter some couple of authentication method. So such kind of a situation, you can able to add a trusted IPs here. So if any user who is been connecting from a trusted IP, you can able to give this a CADR block or your IP schema here. So if the user is been connecting from that particular network, this won't be asked for any kind of authentications, or this won't be asked for any kind of a OTP. So this will allow us to allow the user to log in without um, any kind of options, like he can able to send any kind of options, like without OTP or a multi-factor authentication, you can able to configure it here. Now this important message, or this important feature, we need to use it here. So you have a trusted IP can be able to configure here. And how the user can be able to enable a multi-factor authentication, or what are the authentication method you want to enable it here, that you can able to define it from here. So the moment when you entered it here, this will allow us to uh, ensure that the user is been connected, it's been um, this will enable us to um, e- different option for verifying this one. How you want? Do you want a OTP message, or do you want some notification on a Microsoft Authenticator? So this kind of option you will be able to enable it here. So with the help of that, you may be able to select it here. So the option will allow us to configure a different authentication method here. Now, in case if you want to enable this feature into a particular user, you can go to the particular user group here. For example, like I have a user settings here. I can able to select it here. For example, like there is one more feature has been available, something called history also. For example, like if one time if you have been given an OTP, now if you're connecting from the same device, this option won't be asking any OTP password for the same device. For example, like if you connected from a device, so the same device, again if you're connecting, this won't be asking for a OTP number. You may be remembering there are some situation currently, you may be having a different users has been available here. Give me a second. Now, for example, like you may be remembering like there are some situation if you access some website, maybe on the first time only you may be getting a OTP message, right? Generally, normally we won't be getting a additional OTP kind of a message next time if you are using this one. So in case if you want to go for this kind of option, you can enable this one. Now, in case if you want to enable this user with a multi-factor authentication, you can go to this option here, users. Inside this one, you can enable this one. For example, like if I need to enable for a Robin, I can able to Ronaldo, I need to enable multi-factor. I need to just select an option called enable multi-factor authentication. So next time the user will be able to, the user will be asked for this authentication one. So this will be enabled. The user will be asked for this authentication method, whatever you have been configured. So whenever Ronaldo has been logged into our system, he will be asked with a whatever verification method we have been configured. So that's about the multi-factor authentication. Let me pause it here for taking your questions. You have any questions? Team, if you have any questions on the chat, requesting you to post it on the chat. So I'll try to answer it all that questions here. Any questions from anyone? If you're good, can you comment it on in the chat? It's good. So then we can able to go to the next page. Look like so no questions from anyone. So it look like it's good. But to create Azure policies, okay. Azure policies, Tajuddin has been coming. For example, like you are in a customer place. You need to ensure that the organization has been it's been following some governance policies. For example, like you want to this policies or this concept is basically coming from a governance aspects. So these policies can be applied in a three level. One is be like a subscription level, resource group level, or a management group. For example, like policy has been coming to picture, like Tajuddin asked a wonderful question here. For example, like if we are creating an organization, customer is needs to be created only with a one particular type of missions. We don't want any user to be created some um, configuration which is not required here. So in case if you want to use it like in my organization, we are allowed only to create some particular type of a configurations, or particular type of the configuration has been not allowed. So that kind of a situations, you can able to go for a enabling an option called Azure policy. This basically this has been configured kind of in a some kind of a option. It's basically known as in a um, governance side. Now, how to do this one? You need to go for an option called policies here in a Microsoft Azure. You will be getting an option called policies. You can go to the policy tabs here. You can go to policy tab here. The moment when you select a policy, it will show you how the policy has been used. We'll get the overview tab here. For example, like once you taken an overview tab, this will be giving you the complete details here. How many system has been complained here? How many system has been non-complained here? Now, one important point you need to remember here, in case if you've been enabled a policy, that will be applicable only to the new user account or the new resource which you are going to create it. That won't be making any kind of a changes on into the existing resources already been created. That is the important point you need to configure it here. What I'm trying to say here, it's like in case if you have a policy you have been implementing on in the system and you have been enforcing this policy or a governance settings, this won't be making any changes to the existing resources been already created here. So that's the important point. Um, so that is, it won't be making any kind of a changes on in the system here. That is an important point you need to remember here. So let's see how this has been created here. Now, in case if you want to create a policy here, what we have done is been like we have been selected an option, like we have been entered into an option here. You can able to see like a policy is being given. This is given overview tab. Inside this, you can able to see here. Now, in case if I need to define a policy, I'll be going into an options here. For example, like if I need to define some policy, for example, like I need to ensure that any resource which I'm creating inside my Azure portal needs to have a mandatory resource tag. So I need to configure some kind of a policy in my organization so that you can able to configure it here. Let's see how this has been added. Let me show you here. Just give me a second. Give me a second. I'm just taking here. Yes. Right now, if I need to define a policy here, you need to select an option called definition here. I hope you may be able to see an option called definition here. So you need to select it the option here. So with the help of an option called definition, you will be able to configure it here. So you can able to go to properties here, and from here you will be able to configure it here. Now, if you go for the option here, this has been loading now here. Let's wait a minute. This policy has been loading on the system. Yes. So right now this has been loaded here. Right now on the screen, you may be able to see there are n number of policies been already it's been created here. That's been default policies been already it's been showing on in the portal here. So right now, if you may be able to connect it here, I'm just giving a policy on in my organization saying if any resource has been created or it's been going to create it on my organization, this needs to have a mandatory resource tag. This is the policy I need to configure in my organization. How to do that? I'll be enforcing a policy. So if anyone has been creating, in which level this has been created, this has been created in a resource group level, or this has been created on in a subscription level, or this can be enabled to on in a management. Haj has been asking something like, is there any possibility to configure on in a restriction on a VM? Yes. Haja, you can able to configure some particular resource only needs to be created. That option also you would be able to select it here. So you can go through these options, or there are hundreds of definitions here. There is an option has been available for that also. Now let me show you a policies here. Let me go to define a policy, something called resource tag. I can see there are many questions being posted on the chat. I'll pick it one by one. Let me finish this topic. I'll come back to that. Okay. So whoever has been typing a lot of message on the chat, I'll not right now. I'll not be in a position to look into that. Let me finish this topic and I'll come back to a Q&A session. So right now I'm discussing about how policy is being configured here. In case if I need to configure a scope here you have option for defining a scope. In which level you want, is it in a management level or in a subscription level, that you can able to define it here. Now if I need to define only in a resource tag, for example, like if I need to select it here, for example, like if you need to configure it here, I'm just saying like in a resource tag I need to configure. I don't want all the policies. I need to allow some policies related to the tagging here. Now I'm just enabling just to ensure that any resource which you are going to create under the subscription, it needs to have a tag. That is the policy I'm going to configure it here. So I can select it here. You can able to see this policies here. I'm selecting here. So this has been enforcing a condition to my organization, saying that if any user account what has been created here, this needs to have a tag. Right now you may be able to see here. Let's wait for a minute. Right now you may be able to see this resource tag option has been coming here. So let's wait for that. Now in case if you want to add this option here, you can able to select this option called assign here. So you can able to select and called assign option here. This will help us to add, or this will help us to add the user account, or it will help us to assign this policy to a user here. So right now you may be able to see this is the place where you can able to add the user account here. You can able to define the scope here. For example, like you can able to define the scope, which subscription level or resource group level where you want to assign. So in case if you will define a scope here, this will ensure that whenever any user account has been created, under this resource group will have a tagging. Otherwise, it won't be allow us to create it. I hope you're getting the point here, right? So the moment when you create a user account here, in case if we assign this policy here, this will ensure that if any resource has been created under this will have a tagging. It's mandatory that this need to provide a tagging at the time of a creation. Otherwise, this won't be allowed us to create this one. Similar way, if you want to configure a policy for different attributes also. For example, like if you want to configure something like uh, there is a particular user, like you want to ensure that there is a particular resource you don't want to create in a resource group. For example, like you have some particular resource group is been available. Now inside that you don't want allow any user to be one create a networking components. You want to restrict that, or you want to restrict some kind of a policy saying that this resource group or resource has been allowed to create only one per set of VM configuration. Because in your organization you want only one set of resource group creation, only allowed only a particular subscription or a resource group that you can able to select it here. So in case if you want to go for such kind of option that you can able to um, configure it here. So basically like connecting to uh, the question related to Azure policy. Azure policy is the option generally we are using to ensure that there is a um, subscription, or it's like the governance policy has been implemented inside your organization. That's been ensuring that this has been like a option has been enabled on in a Microsoft here. So this is the policy generally we are using here. Now coming on into the conditional access, there is another feature is been available. It's something called as a conditional access also. So let's see how conditional access has been helping us. Now basically like conditional access has been a kind of a feature available on in the premium licenses P1 or a P2. For example, like you want to ensure that uh, all the user account it's been available inside your organization needs to follow some X or Y type of authentication, or you want to put some kind of a condition saying that this user has been allowed only to access one particular set of application or a particular set of user account only it's been allowed. So such kind of a things, if you want to configure here, you can directly here. There is an option called security tab here. So you can able to go for an option called security tab here. Let's wait. Now let's wait it here. Let's wait option here. Right now, you may be able to see an option called security here in the bottom one. You may be able to see an option called security. The moment when you selected here, you can able to see an option called conditional access. You can able to see an option called conditional access. The moment when you selected this option, conditional access, you can able to define a policy here. So you can able to put a different kind of a condition when a user is been outside a company. For example, like if I'm selecting an option here like a new policy, I can define a conditions here. For example, like the condition I'm selecting here, like a policy A I'm selecting, and this user is been not at some particular application. For example, like if you want to allow into a particular control or a particular options here, that you can able to um, add it here. Like you can able to put a condition saying that this particular user is being only allowed on a particular kind of actions here. I can able to put like this has been user is been allowed only some condition I can put. He has been allowed only on Microsoft Azure. He's been is not allowed to use it on other portal. He's been only allowed on in a portal here. So you can able to select. So I'm setting in some condition kind of a condition here. If the user is been login here, so this be able to configure it here. So for example, like you can able to add it here. For example, like you can able to put a condition. The user is been only allowed on in a Azure portal here. He's not allowed on any other uh, option is been selected. Now, Amir is asking like from where we got a conditional access option. It's been very simple. You need to go to, let me repeat it here. You need to go to Azure Active Directory. I repeat this one from where we got a conditional access option. You need to go to Active Directory here. Inside the Active Directory, in the setting or a management option, you may be able to see an option called security here. So you need to select an option called as security here. So select an option called as security here. Inside a security, you may be able to see an option called conditional access. From here, you can able to select this option. So this will able to help, or this will help us for adding, or this will help us for enabling this option. So one important point we need to remember here, in case if you want to use this one, you need to have a premium 2 or a premium 1 license. That is an important point. You can able to use it here. So you need to have a premium 1 or a premium 2 license is needed. So then only you will be able to add it here. Now let's go back to Microsoft portal here. So conditional access, you can able to set it here. So in case if you want to go for any kind of adding here, so you can able to add it here. So You can able to add a options here. So let's go for a cloud app. So you may be able to see here. So you can able to put some conditions here. So basically, like if you want to log in on into the portal, and if you want to enable a any kind of a condition or a kind of a enforcement, or you need to do, so you can able to do this one. Not access also, just a time in, or it's like if you want to put this conditions here, see. So in case if you want to block or a grant, or if you want to put some kind of a geography condition here, for example, like if the user is been only allowed from a Windows computer, you can able to configure it here, see. So here you have option for enabling this one. So if the user is be logging from a Windows computer, or if the user want to allowed only from a particular geography, in case if you want to put this kind of a condition, if you want, you can able to put it here. So that will ensure that you are implementing a forceful governance policy inside your organization. So if the user is being only allowed to work from some India or some Philippines, I don't want the user to travel from a different geography and login. In case if you want to enable this one, then you can able to go for this kind of options here. So that's important point. You can able to remember it here. So that is a important point. You can able to use it here. Clear? So that is an important point. You can able to. Now, let me go to another one important feature. Generally, we used to use it's called identity protection. Identity protection is one of the feature generally we are using for helping our organization to ensure that your account is been completely it's been protected, because we want all the user it's been you may be facing a different type of risk in your organization, like user may be connecting from a anonymous IP address, user may be traveling this one, or user may be logging from a malware linked IP address device, or there is some chances of password spray. So these are the normal users threat generally we use it. In case if you want to protect user account from such kind of a user risk or a sign-in risk, that you can able to enable it with the help of a option called identity protection. So you can go to identity protection here. There is an option you will be getting called identity protection. So identity protections here. You can go to identity protections here. Let's wait for that. So in the system, you can able to configure user risk policies here. So we need to you can able to use this one. For example, like in case if you want to use any kind of a risk policies, that you can able to enable it here. So the moment when you start defining a risk policies here, that you can able to define how enable the risk here. So here you have an option to enable which user, how the risk levels, and what are the type of access you need to provide. For example, like if you are seeing like some user has been um, you may be able to see like allow access, or it's been like this kind of options, like if you want to if you're continuously, if you're seeing like anonymous user is been continuously has been trying to connect using some different password, so immediately what action needs to be done. So in case if you want to block that, or we can ask the user to use it a multi-factor authentication. So this kind of controls if you want to do inside your organization, you can able to use this one. So this is an important point you can able to use on in case if it is coming on in a identity one. Right now, when it is coming on in a access part, you may be using a role-based access control or a different. permissions for a user or a group. Now you want to find out what is the permission currently the user is having. For example, like you may be the user may be part of a different subscription, user is being part of a different groups. In case if you want to find out what is the permission currently the user is having. So that generally it's been done with the help of a concept called identity governance. You can go to an option called identity governance. In case if you want to find out for a particular user or a group, what is the current permissions they have. So that generally you can able to identify from the this one. So that you can able to do it so you may be able to get it here. So this kind of options will be able to get it here. So this identity option you can able to do. So here you want to find out, you can able to see this access review. For example, like some particular user or a group you want to identify, you can able to do it from here. You can go to new access review. From here you may be able to enable this option here. So with the help of that you will be able to enable these options. Now let me go to home. Can you just elaborate your question? That's called, there is an option called just in time Haja. So if you are just only for a option, you can able to use an option called JIT here. So this is the option generally we can able to use it just in time only for one time. If you want to use it, you can able to use it here. So there is an option called security policies. You can go to the Azure Security Center. Azure Security Center. There's an option called just in time. You will be at an option called security policies. You will get it. There is an option called security policies. That option generally it's been done by JIT Haja. So like a JIT is the option you can able to do. Security policies you can able to select. There is an option for it, just a VM access or it's whatever you want, you can able to do it. So this is the option generally we can able to use it. So Haja you can able to follow this option. Just in time is the step generally we can able to use it here. With the help of that you can able to configure. Now that's about Active Directory part. There is only two option is been pinned. Now it's been resource lock. Resource lock is generally configured. For example, like right now you may be using n number of resources on in a portal here. Now you need to ensure that the resource is been not by mistake is been deleted from here. How to do that? Generally, there is a concept generally we are using here something called as resource lock. So this can be enabled in a resource group level, or this can be enabled in a resource level, or this can be configured in a subscription level also. For example, like I have a couple of user account here. For example, like I have a resource group is been available here. For example, like I have a couple of resource group here. So here I can able to enable this one. So if you go to a finance one, so if you go to an option called a locks, here you can able to protect here. So the user won't be able to delete anything here. In case if you've been enabled a locking for your resource, for example, like you can be able to give an option called you will be able to enable options here like a policy name. You can able to give it here. Then right side you have an option for read only or a delete. In case if you've been enabled an option called read only, user won't be able to make any kind of a configurations on in that particular resource group. He'll be able to um, you'll be able to will not be in a position to make a shutdown or a restart or a power on, or it's like not be able to make any kind of a configuration changes on that. So this has been like the completely that resource will be moved in a read only mode. In case if you have been enabled a delete button, this won't be allowed until unless if you have been unlock your resources. So that is option you can able to use for delete also. So this is the one feature generally you can able to use it on in a resource level. So I'm just pausing here for taking all your questions. So you may be posted a number of questions here. Now, any question related to Active Directory, let's have another few minutes for the discussion. So we have been covered almost all points related to Azure Active Directory here. So if you have any question related to Active Directory, let's have a discussion here. You can post your questions on the chat. If I'm getting a question like, if I lock a resource group, then can I create some resource? Uh, you resource on a, how you created, if how you lock this resource, Haja? Is it in read only mode, or it's been like a, what is the type of the lock if you've been used here? Generally, yes, you will be able to create it here. In case you've been locked in resource group, you will be able to create a resource. There will not be any issue for that. Whether it is a cannot delete or a read only mode, you will be able to do it this one. So you have option for enabling or creating a resource, but you will not be able to do this one. Now I'm getting another question is like, can you repeat identity governance and using for what? Identity governance is like a kind of a practice tool. Um, Alraz, it's been like a basically is a kind of a practice tool. Like in case if you have a different control you have available in your organization. For example, like you have a role-based access control has been available. You have a different type of certification has been provided. So in case if you want to ensure that identity governance, for example, like governance is the right word we are using. So in case if you have been configured a different user account inside your organization, now you need to ensure that the user account will be created here. For example, let me take options here. Just give me a second. For example, like you have a multiple user account it's been created here. That user may be configured with a different level of permissions, right? That user may be part of a user, for example, like a particular group. When he joined the company, he was being part of some X group or a Y group. But after some time, he may be moved to another department. So I want to find out whether that is existing permission is been still available or not, or it's been like you have any kind of a permissions, or in case of any kind of existing permission is currently it's been available for that user. Most of the times when we moved from one department to another time, generally we used to revoke this permission, right? But still I need to find out some particular user is having what is the level of the permission currently is having. That you can able to find out from this identity governance policy. So you can able to use a identity governance you can use with the help of that you can able to use it this year. So that's the problem. That is the account, or that is a option you can able to use it here. So you have an option of that is the type of the option you can able to use it. So with the help of that you can able to find out what is the type of the current permissions currently is having. This is basically for calculating the current existing permissions on in a system. I hope it's been clear, Elras. Any question from anyone? So let's wait for attendance link. So already if you've been filled on the first 3 days, you don't need to have fill this one again. I got another question from Haja is asking like, can you explain this manage identity and system manage identity? It's similar like to Haja, it's like a service account, which we were using on in a on-premises AD, right? This like there are two way generally we used to create it here. One it's been like user managed identity, and second one we used to create as a system managed identity. For example, like if you want to provide some identity to a private application, particular application in your system, we used to go for either user identity or a managed identity here. So user identity has been it's been completely managed for a user, and system managed identity has been created and managed by the Azure here. So this basically like if you want to create a resource that's been support a managed identity or a virtual machines or app services, then you can able to go for a system managed identity option. So I hope this note will be helpful. So I just pasted on the chat. So you can able to use this one.
So if you have any questions to ask, then feel free to ask right now. The room for the Q&A is open. So regarding the attendance link, there's no attendance link for today. I hope you have already filled the attendance link on the day one of the training. If you have filled it once, then you don't need to fill it again.
So people who already filled this day one, you don't need to fill the attendance. Chaitanya will be providing a link here. Okay. So thank you, team. So we tried to cover maximum informations last couple of days. So attendance link, Chaitanya, if you can share, that'd be great. Yeah, you can. People can share this attendance link here. People can use this attendance link which has been posted here.
So thank you, Robin, for the wonderful
Yeah, thank you.
session. Uh, I hope uh, you all had a great time and learned something valuable from Robin. So everyone, just give a thanks to Robin and for his valuable time. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining today. We are looking. I hope you also had a great learning experience. And if you still have any doubts, then just quickly ask your doubts because we are ending the session soon. And if you have any doubts regarding the community or anything like that, and in general, we value your feedback. So, how was the session? Just write it down in the chat box.
So I think Chaitanya, you are doing a weekend assessment for a trainer here, right?
Yeah,
That's be great. So like because I'm seeing like most of these members here, it's a like regular this one because now all of my friends here, right? Because I can see a lot of name like Haj has been familiar to me, Jacob has been familiar, many names. I don't want to Liam also I remember. So many members here. So uh, these all it's feel
yeah,
like a family now.
yeah. And they are typing like the session was great, marvelous,
That's,
wonderful.
I think
So,
we need to give a party.
sure.
Yeah, that's been great actually. Some good. So thank
I
you, team.
passed
Happy Sunday. Right.
SC-900.
And
Someone else can
congratulations,
have,
Lim. So I think Lim is giving the party to everyone here. He passed the exam. Hey, Lim, congratulations.
yeah.
So Lim
So,
is
thank you,
giving a party
Robin,
to. Yeah. Thank you.
for your
Happy
session.
weekend. Yeah, happy weekend, everyone.
Yeah,
So wish you a productive week next week. So take rest, everyone. Let's connect it possibly in another session. So we'll have a more fun and more knowledge sharing sessions. This is completely free of one free webinar just to share the knowledge, to learn each other. There's a mutual learning, right? It's not one way, it's in always two ways. So thank you, Chaitanya and Surag, for coordinating this webinar for everyone. This has been helping many people to learn new things, at least getting a confidence on in the cloud also. That has been wonderful. So thank you, team. So happy weekend. With that note, signing off and have a great weekend to everyone here. Bye.
thank you, Robin. Have a great
Thank you.
weekend to you as
Bye.
well.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining the session today. And uh, I hope you said you liked the session. So I hope you had great time in learning about Azure Active Directory. And do write down in the chat box like what next topic you want to learn related to Azure, and we would try to get to the session of that topic. So like I said, we value your feedback. So each and every feedback of you is appreciated. What next topic you would like to learn, or what next topic you want the training? So do write down in the chat box. And if you have any doubt regarding community or anything in general, so do let us know. I'll be ending the session in like next 2 to 3 minutes. So feel free to share your thoughts or ask your doubt. And do join the Discord as well, our Discord and WhatsApp group. Do follow us on the social media handles. And I've shared the attendance link. You only have to fill the attendance link only once. So if you have filled it on the day one or any of the day of this training, then it's fine. If you haven't filled it, then you can fill it right now, and you will receive your certificate soon. So probably in like next 2 to 3 days. So there is one hackathon which is being organized by Microsoft, and its name is Code Without Barriers, and it's only for women hackathon um, next month. So do register for it and do participate in it if you are interested. Do participate in this hackathon, and I've shared the link. There are some exciting prizes for this hackathon, and yeah, the submission for the hackathon will open soon. We are a community partner with the with this hackathon being organized by Microsoft. So do join, do participate in this hackathon. So since there is no further questions, and so I'm ending the session. And if you have any question, I hope you have joined the community over Discord and WhatsApp. And if you have any questions, you can ask over there.